I think on a rainy day, it's a good day to start digging into the last little bit of what we've been working on for the last week, pretty much. Hello, everybody. This is Frogman. Welcome back to Captain of Industry. We have been attempting to try to get as many food products down our residents' throats as possible. I know that's kind of a disgusting way of thinking about things, but yes, we're trying to feed them as many nice little things as we possibly can, so that we can pull a little bit of unity out of, well, their little pockets, so we can use it for other things. Plus, it makes them happy. So why not? We should be making them happy. We're currently sitting at a pretty nice 43-month stockpile, and I'm still having a little bit of fun with this over here. I've done a little bit of rework as far as the food is going over here as storages, and well, we've got it down to the point where every single thing has its own little deal, and we're fixing to add at least maybe one or two more. I am kind of on the fence right now about whether or not we're going to try to make cakes, but I have been doing a little bit of upgrading, and I have been playing with these two guys over here because they have been finally got this area a little bit leveled out, so I need to start thinking about moving their little mining area. Let me think. I forget it is this one, correct? You guys need to move up a little bit further now so that we can start building our structure towards this island. So we're already kind of working on it a little bit. I've got it leveled as best as I can without digging into the iron that is right here. This will be the next iron patch that we play with, so it's a good deal. We've also got a nice little flat spot, and we've kind of buried a little bit of the sand over here so that when the time comes to start digging that, we can. All right, I need to tell you fellas, I guess we just keep digging over here in this moonscape to kind of level it flat out, and then we can go play around with a little bit of, well, more food, or at least more production of things, because there are some things we really need to get onto. Let's see. You guys clean up. You don't get into there, and I might just have them go ahead and level that area, at least for right now. That was a 5, and I know it as soon as I saw it, it did it. I love it when it does that. Let's see. Continue connecting. We'll just start right here. I just want to try to kind of clean up some of this mess, and it's a mess. I mean, like I said, it's a freaking moonscape over here. There's boulders and stuff and everything over here, making it incredibly hard to navigate. And the problem is, like I said, it's not very much material. Every one of these little rocks is just a prohibitive way of being able to move around things because of the fact that our larger vehicles cannot pass through them. So let's see, that should do the work there. I may go ahead and let me see. I need to edit this zone. It shouldn't matter, but they'll still like it to be edited. We'll just kind of overlap a little bit for now to about there. I think we'll be fine. Nothing should matter as far as that goes. They should continue to do what we need them to do. And then, yes, we need to start seriously working on some of the other things that are going on around here. There's still going to be a bunch of in-between things that I'm going to continue to do, including probably going to have to start thinking about limestone. We still have a decent amount there in those hills, but there's not a lot left. We may need to start seriously concerning ourselves with some more limestone. But anyhow, in between episodes, I did go ahead and finish out the rest of the chickens. So we do have all 8 chicken farms running now. Chicken farms are producing a reasonable amount. I think it's like 80 amount of chicken per minute. So we're doing pretty good there, chicken carcasses, which allowed me to turn the rest of our food processors on. Now, there's some magic going on back here, which is why I kind of wanted to stop and talk about this for a little bit. The first 3 food processors here are producing the chicken carcass into meat and meat trimmings. Those first 3 are just basically keeping a box full of meat full so that we can send the box over here full. Close that stuff off, it's annoying. So we can keep a box over here full first. And then I have right here on the end of it a flat balancer that is allowing only, well, is basically saying priority this direction. So that means these 2 right here will have priority over everything else. And then this last balancer here will say this is priority into here. So if all 3 of these are filled up and means they're back stuff and ready to go, then we are allowing the chicken past to be converted into meat trimmings. So we have 3 of these making meat trimmings, which is making a large amount of meat trimmings, to be fair. So we now have 4 of the food processors making sausage. And if you notice, we have a sausage unit storage 2 full, a meat storage unit full, and we also have eggs full as well. Now, one of the interesting things that I was kind of wondering why it was such a big problem, and apparently it doesn't really matter, eggs will back stuff, but the machine will continue to keep making chicken carcasses. So it's really not a problem if your eggs are back stuffed. So I'm not going to worry about them right now, at least for right now. Yes, I'm probably wasting chicken feed on them because these things sit here and do whatever. But yeah, I mean, well, we're back stuffed on carcasses there and carcasses there, and yeah, they're kind of working through it, but that's fine. We are kind of idling because we have managed to, well, I guess catch up with production, so to speak. So I am doing a little bit of goofing around with the sugarcane because we're going to start with that here in the next point. So because of the fact I made a really dumb mistake over here and put these two farms making the canola and the sugarcane all on a sushi belt, this thing makes a lot of sugarcane. I mean, it makes a lot of sugarcane when the time comes, when it does things. Okay, so now we're pushing canola out. That will run down the line. I was waiting on it to do this, so I need to actually, no, I don't want to. I want to try something. U-shape lift, flip down. Can you, if I do this and make it the height it needs to be there, and then Control X and drop that over the top, will you do it? No, you won't. Okay, that's what I was afraid of. Go ahead, delete that one. It's good. We can go ahead and move on. I said delete it. Delete it, delete it, delete it. Go away. Thank you. We need to move things up to another belt so we can stop sorting things. And so we can turn on our... Anyhow, that will hopefully now be able to produce all kinds of canola for us. So we're going to let that roll a little bit and see how it goes. And then this should be good once we get a little bit more things done here. I'm going to go ahead and just kick it back off pause as well so it can start producing. That belt right there has a lot of canola on it, which is fine. That canola will get sorted out once it makes its way all the way to right here. So we'll have a sorter here, and once we get all this sorted, then I'm going to come in here and kind of clean a bunch of this mess up. So let's go down the line before we get into the next big problem so that we can kind of discuss things as we go. So in here we were using the ethanol, or the corn mash recipe to make ethanol. Since we have a decent production of sugar, at least at this point in time, sugarcane, I have since added in another line and added a few more fermentation tanks here to be able to process the sugar into ethanol. So we ran a line all the way down here, got it hooked up. We're working on the next step for a couple of other things in here, but yes, we're just kind of just making sure that we're utilizing things before they cause a problem. So the last thing in line here is going to be keeping corn fed to our people, but the next step is to say that this is where the corn is going to go first, should it need to go in anything else, and then the final step here is corn into either one of these two mixers to produce the chicken feed. We're also doing the same thing with the wheat, but right now I want to make sure that the corn is utilized first because we're not really using this process right now. So those are just sitting there kind of idling. And if this works out nicely, I will probably just leave them offline and probably take them out. So we have 5 fermenters now making ethanol. It's not a lot of ethanol. It's a 60 pipe worth of ethanol, but that's pretty much at this point in time all we need. The next step over here, I guess, is what I'm going to speak on now, is that we're going to start using sugar to make antibiotics. Now, the sugar in the antibiotics thingy is a very important deal because this is going to allow us to make medical 2. Medical 2 is necessary for us to do a lot of space work, so I think we're going to go ahead and turn that on and let it get built so we can start building some of that. I'm still going to have to build the stuff back here, but yes. As far as the rest of this goes, it's been working fine. Once it back stuffed up and got to going, we're pretty decently working. I think our biggest problem and holdup at this point is going to be the sheer lack of corn that we're making right now. I've got to the point where all 6 of these, actually these 2 are just making nothing but corn, but they're not eating the vegetables fast enough, so we're kind of still having an issue with vegetables, but at least they're, all of our boxes are full. Granted, we're way behind where I think we could be as far as people are concerned, but we'll go ahead and let that get built up, and they should haul us a little bit of ammonia over here once that's all built up nicely. 3 of these should be enough to produce the antibiotics that we can currently make. It's a kind of a half and half number. So antibiotics, as far as what you need, in here we're making 48 of the medical supplies per minute. You need half of that in order to be able to make the medical supplies Mark II. So what we will end up doing is I will probably end up just taking one of these, feeding it into here, and then we'll take those antibiotics and just probably truck them over here for now, and then just roll it across the line, and then change this line out so that it comes in, like, say, over here and down in. Or maybe we don't. Maybe we just feed them both in, and then we just, whatever's excess gets become medical 2. I don't know. We're going to have to keep medical 2 in a container, so we'll see where we go from there. Anyhow, let's see how we're doing over here. I've been kind of watching it. We've been having little bitty problems. Nothing massive, nothing major, but I am kind of contemplating moving all of this over just a little bit so that we have a little bit more space to play with the sugarcane. But I am kind of waiting on the canola to get its way back over here because of the fact, like I said, I was an idiot and made a sushi belt of the stuff. I suppose I could probably just empty that belt, but it's not that far. I mean, it's right there. And then once this first one goes to work, wait, where are we? Once this one gets to work, so now we should be producing canola, good deal. Those will just sort themselves out, and we'll just see where we go from there. So yeah, the canola is going to be a big deal. We're going to need that for a lot of different things, and I'm trying to make sure that we're doing enough to make it work at this point. So everything should be fine. 59. Hopefully that's going to be enough. I mean, hopefully. We'll see. We don't need a lot. We were way over making it, so we'll see how it goes from there. Anyhow, that all looks pretty good. I'm going to let a few things sort out here for a minute, guys, and then we're going to get to building on the next step. So this should be producing goodness. Sweet. Okay, well, I guess we can actually kind of think about making that then. So that is going to require one of these. So let's grab us an assembly. And we're going to put it right... probably something right there, because I think what I want to do is I want to use a... well, we're going to need to store it, but I want to use a balancer right here. Let me see. I need this. So that's all we've got to do is just add that to that. Huh. Okay. Do I want to run a belt over here? I mean, I guess we could. I don't really want to. I think for right now, we're just kind of doing these things with the trucks because the trucks are kind of easier to use at this point in time. Let's make room for a storage. We are going to need one. So if I need to do a unit storage, where do I have room to do it? About right there. Well, if I'm trucking in parts, I'm going to have to bring another unit storage in. I didn't want to do that. Put that down. Pop. I gotta quit hitting the cut thing. Put this over here, and we'll flip that down this way. You can be antibiotics, keep full. Sure, give me one of these. You can go over there. And we're going to have to pause you for a second. You can come over here. All right. I just want to clear out that and that. And then we want a belt balancer. Cool. Get built. Get built, not that button. Get built. And then unpause. All right, cool. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of this out of here and put it over to there. And this will be not the pipe, the balancer, priority out. Cool, let's build those. Which should actually work right now because it should still be, we're making way more than we need to. So go ahead, unpause that, except for this one. Thank you very much. I don't need it running just yet. And then while those are building, we'll be able to do a couple of more things. Just kind of, again, waiting on the canola to come in so that we can make a little bit more than what we're currently making, because in order to make any snacks or any candy or anything for our people, we need to have a little bit of canola. So we can kind of build a couple little things in between here. Suppose while it's out, I can belt that in and make it look pretty. Okay, and then we can turn this active open to the truck so they can start trucking it. Go grab some, guys. Come in. I mean, I guess we can set it to that for now. We'll probably end up running a belt down the line over here, but it's just kind of, as I go with a lot of this, I just continue to kind of do it very, very slowly, because we don't need to have everything totally crazy right off. There we go. All right, a little bit of medical too. Now, I don't know how much medical too they're going to eat, but it will help our numbers up here as far as active diseases. When diseases come in, if we're giving them medical too, their health will go up. Their hospital rank should go up a little bit, and that should, like I said, it should make a bigger difference on how much they recover from when we do get a disease. So I'm interested to see if it'll eat both of them or not. Because I haven't, excuse me, because I haven't done this in a while. So you start eating that one. Okay, that's good to know. I think we'll leave it just like that. That way, in case we run out of this stuff, they can back down to the other stuff. Okay, nice. Good deal. So technically, we should be making 48 of those per minute. We're eating half of that, or they're using half of that, so that should back stuff nicely. And yeah, if we do run out of the antibiotics, we should be okay. Cool. All right, so the thing is, how are we doing? This is going to be where we're probably going to cut for a minute, depending on how things are going. Where is our canola? Is it here finally? Looks like we're fixing to hit a big bunch of it to come in here. So, all right, I'm going to let this run a little bit. I will be back with y'all. All right, that's going to make us a nice batch of, well, food as well. That's good. So plenty of canola, plenty of oil coming in. Cooking oil should start to be filling up. And then I believe I already have that pipe ran down here, so we need to go ahead and decide how we want to do this. I'm going to say we're going to build snacks right here in this line. And again, only reason why I'm doing this is because we have excess on a couple of things. And that's kind of the reason why I was saying maybe we do cakes as well, because cake is going to make a bunch of the excess stuff that is going down the line here go away. So like these excess eggs that we have and the flour and whatnot, that will make sure that they have a little bit more to play with. What in the world is... Oh, that's where the pipe ended. Okay, but anyhow, snacks. Let's get some snacks going. Snacks are going to be corn or potatoes, salt, and cooking oil and plastic. So this shouldn't be too terribly hard to do. The only problem is, again, we're going to have to make sure that the corn... Actually, I can probably just... Well, I can't filch the corn off of here, can I? Because I'd have to sort it off. Well, if we're going to use corn, let's build a... I want to make a loose storage here. And I think the play actually is to delete this belt real quick and then run a line from here over to there. Although I don't want to do that, do I? I want this to be... Oh, whatever. You know what? We'll just go ahead and do it. We can essentially set this up to not take things. There are multiple ways of making sure that things can't do stuff. So we'll do that for now, and then we'll get this from here to there, and then we'll go ahead and unpause all that, let it build back. Where is my corn? Are we clear out of corn? See, this is my concern. I think I may not do that. I kind of think what we need to do is do the exact same thing we did here, where this priority is going to go this direction, so I do want priority on this. I don't know. We've got a lot of just little bitty things that are going to be a problem. I think we'll just use the leftovers to make snacks again. Snacks are just going to be kind of whatever. So, sure, I could probably put the priority right there, can't I? How about this, you guys? How about this? Give me... I know, I'm kind of thinking on camera. Apologize. Build all that stuff up so we can drain that tub, or drain this line. Okay, and then I want to put a priority here. So that the food is fed first. Priority goes that way. Get built. Get built. And then I need to grab this and unpause it. Okay. Okay, cool. That's kind of what I want to see as far as this goes. I also, like I said, we've got this built this specific reason because the wheat, the only thing the wheat is going to be doing is making the flour. That's it. That's all it's doing. So I've got as much of this stuff up here as possible going. We'll be able to just do what we need to do. So snacks. Again, snacks are a food processor. We're making probably at least that much, if not more. I would like to... I mean, maybe what I need to do here is I need to look at consumption on things in here. Where is a consumption for an average thing? I want this button. This button over here, and then there's a food button. Where is it? That one. So we're eating a lot of the corn, a little bit of the bread. So this is an interesting thing here. They're eating a lot of corn. 22 corn, 23 fruit, 31 vegetables, 16 sausage, 15 eggs, and the bread. Interesting. And that's been pretty solid standard for a while. Which one is this one? This one is the fruit. So they are definitely going through the fruit and the vegetables quite heavily, along with the corn. And again, I'm not really concerned about feeding them corn because the corn is going to be feeding them chickens. And I'd much rather be feeding them a complex food like bread than the corn. So if that's what they're eating, we'll see how this all goes. But again, we may just start worrying about little bitty things. So final things. Food processor. Let's do whatever the recipe is for this. Let me see. So we've got snacks on corn is going to make 24. How much corn are we making generally? 34. 34. How much corn oil are we making? Corn oil, canola oil. Wrong button. Oil. Cooking oil. Wow. Okay, is the tank full? Oh, nice. Okay, well, let's see what we can't do then. I say we try to do, well, I'm going to do 2 for now, so we'll just go ahead and plan this out, do 2. Oh, nuts. That means I got to build another one of these systems over here to collect the garbage, and that one's clear up there. All right, nice. Sure. I'm also going to have to bring in salt again, too, aren't I? Well, salt's right. We're going to have to do some seriously nasty belt poo here. Let me build some stuff. I know we've been kind of playing around on camera for a little while. Let's get a couple of snacks going, and then we'll see what happens. Alrighty then. Let's see. We're going to need to tie a output here going that direction and output here going that direction, and then we're going to have to figure out whether we run this all the way back over there or we just do that again. I suppose we could just do this little option again. Let's see. Copy you. And I don't want all of what I just grabbed. I guess that's just concrete, isn't it? How about we put that like so? Flip it. And then we can put it kind of like that. I don't ever see us making more than maybe 4 of these, at least for the time being. This is just leftovers, essentially, is all this is going to be. So we don't want to be Just don't want to be backstuffing things that we're going to be using. So I'm just trying to use up stuff. Anyhow, let's see. U-shaped conveyor. This is not going to be a lot of things. That can just go to there. That can go to there. And good. So a small amount of snacks. Oh, and I need to... Well, I guess I don't care because we're going to eventually pave all of this area anyway. We're slowly making a nice little food factory. I mean, I think that looks pretty good. Cakes should slot right in here when the time comes. Again, this is going to be kind of one of those all-over-the-place episodes. We usually do the normal thing that we usually do because I really don't have a plan for when I build things. Go ahead and unpause all of that. Make sure it's all unpaused. Good. Well, I did it again. Unpause everybody. That's fine. We can do that little strip of stuff right now. And as soon as I get that done, and I have to decide where we're going to run that belt, it may come... Where did I put those? I put those right there. It might just come clear out here on the outside edge and produce another little thing. This little bus that I built in here is starting to get very ugly. There, with a little bit of stealing from the salt over here, I didn't see a reason to, well, put another box down there when there's salt right here already, so we'll just do that way, and then it can come around and kind of follow around, drop down into the snacks. We have a little bit of plastic coming in. How much plastic is that going to be? It's not a lot, isn't it? All right, cool. Well, that's going to take 24 corn, or should say 48 corn, and make it into 48 snacks with a little bit of usable stuff. That's pretty cool. Look at there. We have snacks. Finally, we have one more thing that these people need to eat. And again, for now, I think what we will do, can they reach that box? They can. Keep it full for now, fellas. Let's feed them a little bit more goodies. Because if this is, too far. If this is enough, I may go ahead and drop down another one of these. Because again, I'd much rather be using the corn. I don't want to be putting the corn here, and if they're going to be eating the corn like we saw in this graph over here, food. Like, corn is their major staple of what they're eating as far as carbs, followed by the bread. So we're making a lot of bread. If we end up using up all of the corn, well, then that's something that is fine. I'm not worried about it at this point. But the more things we feed them, the better off they're going to be. Something changed. Oh, those are the snacks coming online. Well, I guess we see what happens with that. We'll let the graphs run a little while and see what happens. Oh, that's interesting. So 48 per minute, they're consuming 29. So theoretically, that should catch up eventually. I know this is still kind of early in the beginnings of all of this, but it's going to have to do a little bit of backstuffing of things. What does this graph look like? So yeah, this is kind of where I was saying, the more things you feed your people, the less they consume on a specific item. So before we were consuming 23 corn, and now that we're providing those, they're consuming 17. However, they're going to consume the heck out of the snacks, which I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, I guess it is what it is. But again, more complex foods are a better way to go because they'll start to use those complex foods more so than the basic stuff, which means you can take the basic stuff like this corn and make complex foods out of it, and it makes them happier once you get that production going. So I think we'll probably maybe drop another one of these down here in just a second just to see if that doesn't help. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. See, we're still not eating all the vegetables, which is a beautiful thing in here. So I have one farm here that is not eating all the vegetables. They're all still kind of full up on the vegetables, which is why I've cut 2 of these out to just be making corn now. And I might do a third just because it's looking like they can't manage to eat it anyway. So that's cool. Again, this is all subject to change. It will definitely change once we move forward with a bunch of more people. I mean, we still have 735 slots to put people into, but I think fairly soon, I think with all that I should say, we should be getting close enough we can start to think about maybe turning one of these on and start utilizing some of this processing power to do some of our fancy stuff. I'm going to sit right here and watch this for a little while and just make sure everything's good to go. But I think with this being said, we have a small amount, once again, of snack production. We have a decent amount of sausage production now, which is ridiculous. Sausage and meat are both doing ridiculously well. They're very happy with all of that. They must have changed numbers. They must have made this work better, because the last time I built this kind of a system prior to update 3, this was a nightmare with the chickens. But I guess it's probably due to the fact that the eggs used to back stuff and stop production on the meat. So is kind of what it is at that point. Anyhow, I will, I guess we got a lot done today. I mean, we've been working hard this week. I don't want to run off right now, but I mean, we've been working hard this week. The last thing to do, of course, is to make cakes, and I might just throw something down for fun. But yeah, we've got a lot of food production, a lot of chemical production started, and a lot of, well, at least the medical 2 backup, which is good because that'll help us to get further with the science that we need for space science. So, cool. All right, guys, I will see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Corn chips. Lovely.